Okay guys, different video than usual because something has happened in not just the game itself, like play Mario Record, but maybe some people watch this who aren't into Mario Record. But the point is, I spend maybe about $5 to $10 a month just buying like monthly packs. Here's some monthly bonuses in this mobile game, which I have a stable job. I have a decent amount of income. $5 to $10 a month is completely peanuts for me. It's basically zero for me, okay? But I like getting a little bit of a bonus here and there, and I also like sending some help towards the developers because I really enjoy the work that I've been doing. I'm enjoying this game, so why not give them like $5 to $10 a month, right? Do just low spending, okay? But the problem is now that Google has just region locked all of their payment options. Now, if I wanted to buy stuff, I'm not going to actually go into the payment options because it's going to show my personal info. But if you wanted to actually buy some stuff in here, usually before you would have your, if you're playing this on Android, it will show you your Google Play option. So you have your Google Play account, which has a Google Pay account attached to it. Yeah, basically the same word, but you know. And you have some payment options. For example, you have PayPal, which I used because guess what? I'm in Germany and no one in Europe has credit cards. This is something that's completely like an American thing, or like maybe in Asia as well. At least in Europe, basically no one has credit cards. So I have PayPal. But yeah, you could also pay with a credit card if you wanted to, if you had one. There's some, you can use Google Pay, or not Google Play gift cards, so you can have gift cards as well. That will also work. There's a bunch of other options as well, but all of the different options that you would have to actually pay for anything, and not just in Mario Record, but in any mobile game, suddenly now doesn't work anymore if the region that the game is located in does not match the region of whatever payment option you're using. For example, this is a Japanese game, okay? So this game only accepts Japanese payment, meaning you need to have either a Japanese PayPal, okay? You need to have a Japanese credit card, or you need to have Japanese Google gift cards. All of these are now region locked to whatever region that you're buying this in. And you might think to yourself, oh, it can't be that hard to make a Japanese PayPal, for example, or get a Japanese credit card. Well, the problem is you need a Japanese address. If you want to have a Japanese Google account, you need a Japanese phone number. And this is something that also, by the way, you didn't need to have before this. And when I say before this, I mean like from the time of uploading this video, like a week ago. I made a new Google account with a Japanese VPN earlier this week, on Monday or something, where I was able to create a Japanese Google account simply by having the Japanese VPN active, and then it just let me create an account. There was an option of putting in my phone number, but it wasn't required. But now suddenly it's required. They've updated this just this week, where if you want to make a new Google account, even if it detects what country you're from with your VPN active, it still requires you to put in a phone number. That is no longer something you can skip. So these are the changes that have been happening recently in like the last few weeks, and these changes are being rolled out in waves, basically across many different games, many different services. So for example, in Mario Record, those changes rolled out like last week and this week. Other games like Kirana Fantasia have also been hit by this. I think Azur Lane has been hit by this. So a bunch of other games have also been hit by this. And not just Japanese games. Also, for example, if there's North American games that I want to play, I'm from Germany, I can't do that anymore. I can play the game, but I can't pay for anything anymore. Not that I actually play any games from North America, but if I did, I wouldn't be able to actually pay for anything in those games. I don't know if Flappy Bird has transactions. I know Pokemon Go, I think, is from North America. I wouldn't be able to actually pay for anything in Pokemon Go now, as far as I know. So great, fine. I mean, there was a point in my life where I would have actually liked to play Pokemon Go. So I guess that's out the window. Great. Is there anything you can do about this? Well, like I said, you need an address, a Japanese address, you need a Japanese phone number. Maybe if you know someone who lives in Japan, they can lie for you and like give their own address and their own phone number and like get you through that. I know there might be certain ways on the internet where you can like lie about a fake address and a fake phone number, but that's still illegal in itself, and I would like to not become a fucking felon just because I want to pay for something that was until now completely legal to do. Okay, the question is though, why have they done this? And here's the thing, apparently, and this is, I don't think there's a statement about this, but apparently this is to combat fraud. So some people's accounts, for example, were being hacked, and then hacked accounts would transfer that money to other people's accounts, basically to like at some point end up in the fraudster's pocket through various ways, and that would require transfers that go out of the country. Okay, so by region locking every single payment option, what they've basically done is they've curbed all of those fraud options. Except it hasn't, because it's fraud committed by criminals, which, yes, is the fucking textbook definition, but criminals don't give a shit about what is possible in the law or not. They just find ways anyway. Fraudsters have enough criminal energy to find ways to circumvent these new changes. You're not actually gonna stop them with these new changes. They will probably just find other ways of doing that. So you've not actually stopped them. You've not actually stopped them, but now people who want to legitimately spend money in legitimate ways can't do that anymore unless they lie about having a Japanese address, unless they lie about having a Japanese phone number, which if it ever comes out, I don't know what's gonna happen to you. They'll probably shut down your entire account or whatever. I don't know. And before people say, oh, the answer is to just go to iOS instead, well, iOS also has problems because you also, I don't have an iPhone myself, but what I've at least heard from other people that have gone through this is people have talked about having to also lie about having a Japanese phone and lying about having a Japanese address. So you're still gonna have to go through that. You're still not getting around that, which is just so fucking stupid because I just want to spend like $5 a month to get a nice few bonuses here and there in a little game I'm playing that I'm enjoying, and I can't do that anymore. I know some people look at this and go, ah, well, but who cares about the whales, right? But it's not just whales, right? It's anyone who spends any one amount of money, even if you spend like $1 a month on a game, you're still getting fucked. Completely fucked by this new change. So I don't think there's any positive way of spinning this other than what are you doing, Google? So yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I can really talk about other than what's the point of this. I will say though that I think that Google makes probably some amount of money for any amount of purchase that has been done. At least I would assume that they take some percentage of a cut whenever someone makes a payment with Google Pay. So I would assume that now with this change they will probably notice that suddenly they're losing tens of millions of dollars every month. Because the amount of people that pay for any mobile game that are not within the country that the mobile game is located in. Imagine if someone, by the way, makes a mobile game, for example, in Lampukistan, where no one lives. Lampukistan, by the way, is a made-up country. That's exactly the point. But like some made-up, some place where like barely anyone lives, they decide they want to make their own mobile game, and they put it on the market, and then suddenly they can't make any money. Think about the developers themselves. Or I could actually talk about myself in this case. Like, I have never wanted to make a mobile game. Actually, I wanted to, but if I actually went through and made the mobile game I wanted to make at some point, there's barely fucking anyone in Germany that pays money for in-game transactions in mobile games. This is something that is not really that big of a thing in Germany. We don't really have that mobile game culture over here. Like, yeah, people play mobile games, but we don't really like spend millions of dollars on mobile games. So if I wanted to make my own mobile game, I fucking couldn't. I fucking couldn't, because now all of the payments are region locked. I could have 1 billion players from all around the world that can't actually give me money, and I would have spent years of my life developing this game that now can't make any money because all the payments are region locked. What the fuck, Google? Anyway, that's the end of this video. I don't really have much else to say about this other than if you're watching this and you're not actually coming from Mago Record, and you're currently playing a game where you can still pay for transactions even though you're not located in the country that the game is from, it's not gonna last for very long. You're gonna lose the possibility to actually pay for what you want to get in that game very fucking soon. everyone's gonna come free to play, which at first glance sounds pretty good, but when you think about it deeper, it's actually horrible because the developers don't get paid, which the developers behind this, I mean, they're doing a job, and if you're doing a job, you're not getting paid for it because Google decided to be wacky today. That's kind of shitty. And on the other hand, the people who want to spend just a little bit, they get fucked. And of course, whales, but you can argue that maybe it's for the best interest of whales to not get completely sucked dry. But still, this I don't see the positive angle from this change, and I hope that Google, noticing that they're losing so much money, they're just going to revert this at some point, or that someone finds an easy way of somehow circumventing all of this, most hopefully with PayPal, because PayPal is something that you don't need to lie about having a different account if you can use your Western PayPal. Like if you have a Western PayPal and you could use that to pay for Eastern purchases, for example, like Japanese purchases, that would be great because then you wouldn't have to lie about making a new account, something like that. But yeah, that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, I guess if you want to call it enjoying. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.